Alrighty, folks, it's a glorious but groggy day here in Aggieland. After the beatdown of the Bulldogs and the Cowfield blackout last night, the Sips got swamped in the swamp, which is always lovely. And we've got a nice showing from the boys in Lubbock and Fort Worth, too. So, made for a great day of football yesterday, but that's not why we're here, are we? We're here for new music reviews. We have the debut from a band out of Greece called Passage with their self-titled album. These guys were formed in 2022, and this is their first release. Self-titled debut, 2025. They don't have any demos. There's a little something back there behind the CD if you can pick it up. No demos, no EPs. Straight into this first release. This is out on Steel Gallery Records. That's what I thought it said. Steel Gallery Records. Good thick booklet. Vocals in here. Very shiny booklet. More lyrics. There's a band photo right there. More lyrics. Alright, so we have Markos Darko on vocals, Mimis and Christos Schitzo on guitars, Spyros Gold on bass, and Pepper DeCole on drums. And the album starts off with the 2-minute instrumental, 2.5-minute instrumental. Called Passages. Has a very Fields of Nephilim sound to it to my ears. And that leads right into your first song called Tempter from Heaven. Very Attic-ish to begin with. Markos does have a higher pitched voice, but it's not quite as high pitched as, say, Maestro, Cagliostro, or King Diamond. But similar in sound and tone. Drummer's killing it behind the kid on this one. He's a little buried in the mix, but it's probably for good reason, because he might overpower the songs if he was up any higher. Very Merciful Fate type guitars on this one. Into the Abyss is your next number. This does have a King Diamond type feel song-wise on this number. Drummer's still going to town. Really good guitar solo on this one. The song, I guess, is supposed to be their epic number. It's like 7.5 minutes long, but it runs a little long. It kind of runs out of steam towards the end there. I think they probably should have cut it back a little bit and would have made for a more powerful tune. Fate's Reveal is your next one. Back to the attic type sound on this one. You almost get this like monk type almost spoken word type vocal during the chorus, but it's behind the chorus. Sounds pretty cool. Good fiery guitar solo in this one. Her Desolate Land is your next one. Good speedy chug on this one. Nice guitar solos and harmonies on this one. This one is also almost 7 minutes long, and it kind of runs a little too long too, I think. Starts to drag at the end. I think if you had a guitar solo and then some good guitar harmonies and another solo, and I think if you would have faded it out there, the song probably would have been a little stronger, because that was probably right at around the 5-minute mark on that one. Eternal Frost, your next one. This one has kind of a haunt feel to it. Good crunchy riff, nice thumping bass, nice driving drums. Blazing guitar solo, trade-off guitar solos in this one. Devoid of Reality is your next number. Has another hauntish type feel to this one. Cool bass breakdown in the pre-chorus. There's more prominent keyboard work on this one. There's keyboards in these songs. You hear it. Sometimes it's like fading out in the songs, but you pick them up throughout the whole album. But I didn't find any mention of anybody playing keyboard, so maybe it's a session guy, maybe it's somebody uncredited, maybe it's one of the guys in the band and they just didn't put down that they played keyboards on it. I don't know, but this song does have more prominent keyboard work in it for sure. The guy's vocals do have a tendency to kind of sound sameish throughout the album. He doesn't really stretch his vocals. It sounds like he has a fairly strong voice, so I don't know. This is their debut, and they have only been around 3 years, so maybe they're just getting their toes wet on this album. As far as vocals go, Dawning War is your next one. More spacious, atmospheric tune. And you start to pick up that one of the guitar players kind of has a Yannick Gers type feel to his playing. Of course, Yannick Gers is very Richie Blackmore inspired. And then another one has kind of a more Uli Jan Roth type feel to his playing. Not nearly as psychedelic as Uli, but both pretty cool guitar players. So I'm going to give this one a solid 8 out of 10. Good, solid, traditional heavy metal album. I do look forward to hearing more from these guys. Like I said, this is their first album. So probably just getting their toes wet on this one. Hopefully as they spend more time together as a band, a few more dynamics will enter into the playing and songwriting. But good, solid debut. Passage from Passage out of Greece, 8 out of 10. You guys have a good one, and Giga Maggies.